Hello. How's it going?
Hola.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. And this is Greg Tizer,
Hello.
Andy, and we are here just to chat a little bit about life and church and what's going on. The reason for doing this podcast is to give another outlet for talking about Northridge, specifically Northridge stuff, and then also just kind of some random things here and there. I want to start today with just a quick word about what's happening over in Russia and Ukraine with all of that stuff. If you don't know, if you just go online or turn on any news channel, they'll be covering this. But earlier today, it was in the morning for us, in the daytime for them, but Russia invaded Ukraine. And so what we want to do is just take a moment to acknowledge that and to encourage our church community to pray for both. I feel compelled to say pray for both Ukraine and for Russia. And yeah, to pray for both. I don't think it's wrong. Jesus said in Matthew 5 that we should love and pray for our enemies. And so to encourage us as a Bible-believing, Jesus-following people that we would pray for Ukraine, those that are being attacked and oppressed, and then also for Russia, for the leadership of both countries, for the people, the citizens of both countries, and even just for the volatility that this is causing around the whole world. Mm-hmm. And so, God, we ask for your power and your wisdom to be in those that are followers of you, to act as if Jesus were in their being and to respond in a Christ-like way. God, I pray that somehow you would divert the leadership of Russia to do the right thing and to stop. But most importantly, God, we pray for the Ukrainians that are being attacked and those that are, putting their life in harm's way to protect the country, those that are fleeing. We pray for your protection and hopefully they can find peace sooner than later. Mm-hmm. And we pray this in your name, amen. Those of you who don't know, we have connection with somebody who's in Ukraine right now, Vladimir Foreman, mm-hmm. who's brother of Alyssa Foreman, is one of our mission partners. So if you are inclined to, you can find Alyssa Foreman on her Facebook and social media and maybe follow what's happening with Vladimir through her. Yeah. But I want to, talk about something related to that, Greg. I don't think we have to spend all day on this because there's plenty of people talking about what's happening.
You'll find more well-informed people to talk about
right.
this than me.
Honestly,
for sure.
We don't know too much. Like I said, turn on any news channel and you'll find more information than you probably want.
Yeah.
But one of the things that it started getting me thinking about this is the concept of enemies. Jesus said to love your enemies, to pray for your enemies. What causes somebody in your mind either to be somebody's enemy or to create an enemy? How does that all happen? Are we born into this life where we're just going to have natural born enemies?
It's sin, right?
Sin?
Right. I mean, that's the division. That's whether it's mine or somebody else's, that's where the where the conflict happens, right?
Is there
so yeah, I mean it's
so yes, in a sense we're born.
I mean, I don't have any enemies. I can imagine someone not liking me, so I don't know. No, yeah. Is it okay to make jokes?
Yeah. No,
okay.
I mean we have to. It's
but yeah, ultimately it's sin is the issue, right? I mean, that's the root of all bad things.
Yeah. But
And we're human. We're all marred by that.
even if you're the recipient of somebody else's sin, does that instantly make you an enemy of that person?
Yeah, I guess that's no. I mean,
Or are there
Because
nuances of things that happen in
we
relationship?
sin against each other, that
Yeah.
like loved ones, right? So
Right.
we're not enemies necessarily, but I guess, yeah, it's an interesting question. Like, what creates an enemy? Someone who's continually agitating you or sinning against you, more than agitating, but like in the political sense, right? We have enemies, and it's usually people that there's some agitation there ongoing, or we have different interests. And personally, I don't know. Is it the same thing? Let me answer your question by asking you a question.
I love that.
Yeah.
What was your question?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I wrote down a few things that I thought might
What makes an enemy?
instigate an enemy title between you and somebody else.
Okay.
One is ego.
Yeah.
If both parties, especially, it can happen with one person on one side being relentless with their ego and not being willing to set it aside, but especially if both parties have opposing viewpoints or whatever, and their ego is not letting them get past.
Mm-hmm.
That can create
Sure.
the environment for enemies to happen.
Yeah.
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 People that hold grudges. What do you think about grudges? And that could be tied
Is that
into
tied
ego.
to the ego? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing. Holding a grudge. I would imagine that's a big contributor to creating an enemy.
When's the last time you held a grudge against somebody? You don't have to be specific or tell somebody who it is.
Right now.
Right now.
No,
Against
I don't
me,
know.
that I
Yeah.
don't like Seinfeld.
Yeah. No, I don't.
You don't seem
That's a
like
good
somebody who would
question.
hold a grudge easily against somebody. You
No, I mean,
you-
but I wouldn't call it a grudge. But there's things that like that maybe mark your memory. Like you don't forget things, right? Like, and it's not necessarily grudge. It's just like not letting yourself be hurt or taken advantage of in the same way. So, or by the same person in the same way. And I don't know. Maybe it's like a hypothetical, but because I can't think of a situation like that right now. But I'm sure I've had that. I don't know. I've never been one to hold like a huge grudge. I don't know. Maybe I just ignore people and
That's your way of dealing with
no,
having a grudge against somebody.
no, just ignore them. Just don't like people in general, or just don't deal with people. No.
Well, that's the other one
don't
is
Yeah.
communication, like either a loss in translation situation or lack of communication.
Yeah.
That's another recipe of environment to create enemies between somebody. Theft, when you steal something of
Yeah.
somebody's,
Yeah.
you know. Although I had a really good role model for some people taking a bunch of stuff that wasn't theirs. When I was living with a family here at Northridge, the Kreps,
Mm-hmm.
their house was broken into.
Yeah, I heard about this. Yeah.
And they had way more stuff taken out of their personal property than mine. They took some things of mine. But Tim and Linda's response to it all was so amazing because it showed how little they valued things.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they had a nice house, they had nice stuff. They were a jewelry. They owned a jewelry business, and so they had a bunch of precious stones and gold and all the stuff that was taken.
Yeah.
But they were not freaking out. Like I wasn't freaking out about the stuff that was taken from me, but it was more of just that violation.
Yeah. You feel. Yeah.
You know,
Someone's been in your space. That's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
And it wasn't even my house. It was their house, and yet I still felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little agitated for them as well, on their behalf. Not that they needed me, but kind of in concert with their boys. We're all kind of like puffing up, trying to figure out what was going on. Anyway, what about somebody who refuses to see the other side? Or both sides refusing to see the other side is kind of an environment right before creating enemies.
Yeah. Stubbornness. Yeah. Lack of empathy.
I think sometimes people, we don't like talking about controversial things on here.
Yeah.
But when it comes to politics, is believing that your side or your viewpoint is right, and that you're not willing to go any further than your right viewpoint.
Yeah.
And even just entertain what in your mind would be a wrong opinion.
Yeah.
So you don't even take a second to even listen to some other side that's opposing your right opinion.
Yeah, when someone disagrees with me, I always tell them you're entitled to your wrong opinion. That's fine. No, but that's the interesting thing is now we live in a time and a place where, we talk about echo chambers and how if you have an opinion or you're, of one political side or the other, you can go and totally insulate yourself to where you're getting all your news from news organizations that are using that to their advantage, right? To just keep you in your silo or however you want to say it.
And that's
describe
what
it.
an
But
echo chamber is?
yeah, so
Just
like you're
for
only hearing voices
people
from
out there.
people that you agree with.
Okay.
And then it's pitting you against people that might disagree with you or you might disagree with.
What's the difference between echo chamber and confirmation bias?
I don't know, it's kind of the same thing, right? Confirmation bias creates an echo chamber.
It's very confusing.
I don't know. It's easy for me to criticize or talk about because I try to avoid politics as much as possible and at least the discussion of it.
Yeah.
And I get people are very involved, and we need people that are really involved with issues and politically. That's awesome. It's just not really ever interest me. I mean, I just see it seems to be a place of division more than anything.
You know what I like?
Most adults don't change their mind that
Why
way.
is that?
Well, that way, they don't. I think most of us are stubborn by nature. Like if you come at me and like you're wrong and this is why, I don't know. I just don't feel like that's an effective way to get me to change my mind. But as a Christ follower, I think I should always seek to empathize and see someone else's point of view as much as I can. But it's hard. It's really difficult. It's like to put it in a way that that I can identify with and that is difficult for me. It's it seems trivial, but it's like sports. Like it's hard for me to understand how someone could like the San Francisco Giants. Like as a Dodger fan, my whole life, it's why? How? They're evil. Like how can you root for that team, right? But I have friends that like the Giants. I don't. I do hold it against them. I shouldn't say I don't hold it. No.
So it's a grudge that you hold against
Yeah, I guess that is a grudge.
them?
No, it's. But when you get in real life situations or politics or, man, I'm sure. Or you've experienced like family dynamics that I know people who don't talk to their siblings anymore because of something that happened in the past. Often around a difficult situation in the family, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're not even related anymore.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird, but that's why I say it's a simple answer, but it's true. It's just sin, right? If I can't have any compassion or any empathy with what you're going through, then whether I agree with it or not. Like I just have a hard time with it as a Christ follower. I have a hard time calling myself a follower of Jesus if I can't come to a point where I have some sort of empathy with what you're going through. I don't know. Is that overstepping? I don't know.
Not overstepping me.
Good, because you can't disagree. When I frame it that way, you can't disagree. As-
I will try to see things from your perspective.
yes, thank you. Good, Christian Andy.
What about unrealistic expectations?
Seeing things from my perspective is unrealistic.
Just the list to finalize this list that I kind of
Yeah.
came up with earlier today is expectations more on the side of unrealistic ones or unmet expectations.
Yeah,
I don't know, any expectations in general.
yeah.
I try to.
Keep
I
'em
heard
low.
Charlie Hall. He's a worship leader, songwriter.
Yeah, I remember
from,
that guy.
You know, not in the limelight, and he was never like the popular ones like Chris Tomlin or.
No, but he had some.
But he had
Pretty
some really
popular,
good
some good
songs.
songs,
He was
yeah.
part of that Passion group. But we were at a conference down in Atlanta, and he was one of the worship leaders. And we're just hanging out at lunch one day, and this was after he went through this horrible situation where I think it was his niece or nephew, as a child, that like 4 or 5 years old, died. And one of his next album, Porch and Altar, I think it's called, he dedicated that whole album to this child, and going through that with his sister and everything. And he said this phrase where he's like, after that, I really try to live my life with no expectations but high joy. I just thought that was kind of a cool way to approach life. But oftentimes when you put expectations on people and they don't meet them, whether they knew what those expectations were or not, you begin to foster negative feelings when they're not met.
Yeah.
And it's just like this petri dish for resentment, holding grudges, all those kinds of things. Your ego gets in the way. You're not willing to see things from their perspective, what might have caused them to not meet that expectation or whatever it might be. So those ego, grudges, communication, theft, refuse to see things from both sides, expectations. Those are some nuances of what kind of leads towards this idea of enemies. Anything that you see that might add the good list?
Just overall stubbornness. Some people just don't want to admit that they're wrong, or don't want to concede any leeway to the other person. Competitive or whatever.
You feel like that?
That's where I get in the most trouble. Honestly, the competitive juices kick in if it's an argument or something. But I don't know. I don't want to try to. I don't want to make it myself sound like some great spiritual, follower, but I just have never had a hard time with keeping. I just don't hold on to it. I don't know. I just try to move on. Try not to let things bother me.
Yeah.
So, and I don't have some secret. There's no big. That's just the way God wired me by His grace, because it's not like I've gone through some process or something. But I am very stubborn and very competitive, and it's kind of quiet usually. People don't see that all the time, but it comes up every once in a while if I have a difference of opinion. But I try to keep it around subjects that don't matter that much in the grand scheme of things, like sports, But anyway,
TV
I was looking
shows.
up Charlie Hall because I remember Marvelous Light was a song I remember.
It's a good
we
song.
liked, and we did that when I was a youth pastor. We did that a lot in youth ministry.
I like that song.
Yep.
Mystery. That's another great song.
That's his second one on Spotify.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah.
Well, what you just said about, trying not to hang on to things too. I don't know if you remember Battle Ready podcast from a couple months ago. They were talking about having no enemies. Remember that episode?
Vaguely.
where it was this just commitment because a lot of it came out of what you were talking about a moment ago with just like political conflict with you and supposedly your friends or your Facebook friends. Maybe they are really your friends or not, or people you haven't seen for a while and growing apart. And but to live a life where you don't have enemies, to live a life where you try not to allow that title to kind of invade your space or your culture. Do you think it's possible? Like for coming from somebody who tries to live that way, I don't know. Do you think it's possible to live that kind of life where you virtually don't have? Like, who creates that enemy? Do you create it from your self perspective, or does that person antagonize your life so much that they become an enemy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or do we bestow that title on somebody else?
It's a good question because I think my first thought was like, well, it takes two, right? It takes two. Like, if I don't allow you to become my enemy, then you can't be. But
like in the instance of Ukraine,
yeah,
they don't have. It's sort of like imposed on them that Russia has become their enemy.
Yeah. Well,
the devil.
I mean, that's so layered, right? I mean, again, without getting into too much, because I'm not that qualified to, but I mean, Ukraine was a former Soviet, part of the Soviet Union. I think
some people don't even think it's a real country.
Right.
Putin.
Like, yeah. Obviously.
Did we get shut off yet?
I don't know.
Just making sure.
No. Yeah. No, we're good. I don't know. It takes two to tango, right? But then at the same time, if you keep like needling me about something and like I don't give into it, but eventually people will break, right? Eventually someone's going to react. I don't know if that makes it an enemy. Like you always have the ability to walk away from a confrontation, but you also always have the ability to confront the other person and like, hey, dude, what's up? Like, why do you keep doing that? And that might not go well, or it might put the whole situation at ease. I don't know.
Who are just kind of ran into my head, just random, sorry. This is totally not serious. Who are the most iconic enemy duos in pop culture?
Well, like you got superheroes versus villains.
Right.
Like
I was
Batman,
actually Tom and
Joker,
Jerry.
Tom and Jerry, yeah. That's a good one.
Roadrunner and Coyote.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about that. The Roadrunner is always happy.
Right.
And Coyote's, always trying to destroy this thing.
Because the Roadrunner doesn't really care about the Coyote as much, right? Like the Coyote's always trying to get at the Roadrunner. The Roadrunner always beats him.
Yeah.
But the Roadrunner isn't like trying to just live his life to get after the Coyote. He's just more or less defending himself.
But why is he always there then?
Because the Coyote's trying to kill him.
Like, isn't that a thing where it's, somebody's always pestering you about something, or, I don't know. Sometimes the best response is just to walk away.
Yeah.
And not engage.
But not always.
Not always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes
it's a cartoon, so
yeah, I know.
He's always gonna meet me.
And he draws the fake tunnel on the side of the cliff and makes the coyote run into it. And yeah,
they should have one where the coyote wins.
They should. That would be the end of it, right?
Would it?
I don't know. Doesn't have to be, but
the coyote's been exploded with TNT how many times? And he's fallen off cliffs how many times? And he still lives. He's
still alive.
So
well, it's like the Harlem Globetrotters and the Washington
weak if the
Generals.
Roadrunner died after just one.
That would be just one. The pilot, Roadrunner dies. End of it. Wow, we didn't plan this out too well, did we? But is it at South Park where the one guy dies every episode?
Yep, Kenny.
But it's a cartoon. You could do that. The Harlem Globetrotters and the Washington Generals.
Yes.
But didn't they beat the Globetrotters one time, like a few years ago?
Well, I think they beat them
I know
a few times.
they let them win.
Yeah.
But has it been more than once?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Too bad we have no way of knowing that or looking that up. What's their record? The Washington Generals versus Harlem Globetrotters.
So 27,000 wins and 345 losses.
Wow, 345 times.
Yeah.
That would stink to pay
How did
tickets to go see the
27,000
Washington.
wins on the nose.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
But wouldn't it stink to like buy tickets to go see the Globetrotters, like when they're coming through town or something? Like, oh, let's go see Harlem Globetrotters, and then they lose. Like, well, I guess, and also, does anyone actually look at the scoreboard during that, other than like the Washington Generals' moms, like the players' moms? Because it's all about the dumb like highlight hijinks and.
Did you ever
stuff.
go to one?
I've never been to one live. I used to
remember-
watch them.
I remember my dad taking me to one.
Yeah.
Time. It was pretty fun.
The old classic gag of like the bucket with the glitter, and then didn't one have real water or something when they go to throw it on the
I think so.
Washington Generals player? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, isn't it like, it's like WWE wrestling basically
bit,
on the basketball
yeah.
court. Like just
Stretch
kinda,
the rules too.
Yeah.
You know how many times they traveled?
Oh,
Double
every
dribble.
time. Well, they do that in the NBA now too.
That's true. They take
So-
how many 6 steps can you take?
I think you could take 8.
8.
8 to 12. It depends on your star status, like how good you are or how popular you are. Steph Curry could take like 12. LeBron could take 15 maybe. I don't know.
At least.
Yeah.
Other iconic enemies in pop culture that you can think.
Yeah. Batman and Joker.
Ooh, they have a new Batman movie coming out soon.
Do they?
The Batman.
The Batman?
And it's going to have the Penguin. It's going to have the Riddler, Catwoman.
Who's playing all these people? I don't know. I should know
Colin
this.
Farrell's the Penguin.
Okay.
Doesn't even look like him.
Kind of forgot he was even around. I can't tell you like a movie that I've seen with Colin Farrell. I just know he's been in a lot, and yeah. Wait, who's the new Batman? Robert Pattinson? Is that his name?
Yep.
The Teen Wolf guy? Not Teen Wolf. What was it?
Twilight.
Twilight, yeah.
So that's him.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I know who he is. I couldn't tell you any
This
other
is
movie.
him in as the Penguin.
Oh, wow.
Awesome. It doesn't
Yeah.
didn't even look like him.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And who's like the other, who else? Who's the Riddler?
I don't remember who the actor is,
Was
but
it Jim Carrey in the 90s version?
right. But they have a different take on the Riddler for this Batman.
Oh, good.
A lot scarier looking.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not this guy
That's not
anymore.
Jim Carrey.
He's not wearing spandex.
Yeah.
He's much more menacing looking, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's going to be good. But yeah, Batman and Joker, always big. I don't know if Superman really doesn't have any.
Lex Luthor?
Yeah, but he's not even really a match.
What about
Because Superman could just like
I know.
flick him off the planet.
what about Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker?
You know, or would it be more because they're father-son,
Yeah.
so they're
But
not
In
necessarily.
the 2.5 movies, they were
Yeah, that's true.
2 3/4.
And in some ways, Obi-Wan is more of an enemy to Darth Vader than they have a new Obi-Wan show.
But they
coming
started
out
as
soon.
friends.
They did.
Yeah. And teacher and apprentice, right? So,
Yeah.
better question. How often does teacher and apprentice become enemy situation in movies? Or like fighting against each other in a movie? That happens often.
It
That's
seems
a good,
like it would happen often, but I
Yeah.
can't think of any right now.
I can't either, but it seems like it's very popular. Like, he's going to turn on his teacher. That's like, come on, classic.
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
The student has become the master.
So I think it's better. A better philosophy for life to try to live your life where you don't have any enemies.
Sure.
Now, what's a
Well, Jesus' whole thing too is like, hey, even murderers like love their friends, like, right? Yeah, like just loving your friends or people that love you back does not make you a good person. Even bad people have loved ones, right? So this is an interesting, problem, I guess, quote unquote, for a Christ follower is it's not we could disagree with people, but like we're commanded to go beyond that disagreement. Like we can't harbor that and allow it to become hate in our heart toward another person. And that's where I'm just like, if you can't get to the point where you can have some empathy for another person, even though you might vehemently disagree with their lifestyle, their choices, their opinions or what have you, I just don't see as a Christian how we're allowed to harbor that to the point where you might say, well, I don't hate them, but really you do, right? Really, it kind of is looking that way or it feels that way. So, and yeah, I mean, I've definitely crossed that line in the past of like, I don't hate them. I just really dislike them. Like, well, if you look up hate in the dictionary, it probably says something like that, like a strong dislike. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of you don't have to be best friends with the person, but you also can't allow whatever it is that is a wedge between you to hate them. I mean, you can't harbor that hate for them because at the end of the day, we are all gifted this grace from God, this opportunity to have relationship with Him, and it's like, how am I? Sin is all looked at the same way by from God's perspective. It's all imperfection, and like how am I going to start rating mine as lower than the next guy's? It doesn't make sense. But anyway, but we're human, and it makes I get like there's going to be times where we just don't see it eye to eye to people, and again, you don't have to be best friends with them. You don't have to be friends, but just be frenemies. Is that what you're going to say?
That's why I was going to ask, what is a frenemy?
I don't know. It's someone that you don't really see eye to eye with, but I can be in the same room with them, I guess.
Okay.
Or maybe not. Is it more than that? Is it?
I don't know.
I'm
confused by the term, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone you don't like, but you have to coexist with?
Do you have any frenemies?
I don't know. I don't. No, I don't. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what it is either.
You're scared to say me.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Frenemies. So okay. So we have to talk about Seinfeld. That's kind of the four characters.
They're all frenemies?
They're friends, but if you watch the episodes, they're so self-serving.
Okay.
They secretly kind of also hate each other. But they're friends.
For the little bit that I have watched, because I'm trying
I think you've watched a lot more and you don't want to tell me.
No, it's been a season and a half. Like you said, all the three, a little bit of four.
See, and I think 4 and 5 are probably like...
Oh, now then you're going to say,
No.
I think 5 and 6 are probably the best.
I've been watching it again. I'm on the final season.
So you think
or
4 and 5?
I think maybe it's like 5, 6, 7, 4 to 7, somewhere in there is probably like peak Seinfeld. Yeah.
But what I think that description of frenemies when it comes to those four characters is a really good description. Also, and combined with what you shared last week with the 2 rules of Seinfeld, they don't hug and they also don't grow.
Yeah.
So that animosity between that never grows either.
Yeah.
It just is what it is for that moment, in that moment, and then the next day it's something new. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I think it's a great example of frenemy.
Yeah. It is I didn't think about it with the word, but it is. If you watch that show, they're frenemies.
Yeah.
But you don't really see it all. You just think they're friends and they get in these weird situations. But if you really see what's going on, they throw each other under the bus.
Maybe a frenemy is somebody that you have no option of not interacting with on a regular basis, like a work person.
Yeah.
That you just can't. You just like
Michael Scott and Toby.
Right. You just don't get along.
Yeah.
You're always
Toby
kind of
Flenderson
at each other's, throats, but you're forced to be in this, ongoing relationship because of whatever circumstances. You know, maybe in-laws or something like that, or work buddies or work people or school. You know, your locker's right next to this person, or your assigned seat is, next to this
Even
person.
teammates. There's been countless examples.
Right.
And
Bryce Harper and every other one of his teammates.
already, there are good examples in sports of guys that, classically, didn't get along, but they're on championship teams together.
Who can you think of?
Michael Jordan and everybody else on the, the Bulls, who I think he just thought of them as necessary pieces, to play a role in his play, which they were.
Do you think when Kobe and Shaq split?
Yeah, they seemed like that was real. They didn't really like each other,
Right.
but
Or maybe it started before they split and when they were still on the same team.
now if you want to really analyze, I think probably what it was Shaq's older. Shaq was always because of his size, he was always the center of attention. He was the main guy on the team, and then here comes this younger guy who's clearly one of the most talented and basketball players to come around.
But Kobe came into the league at 97?
Something like that, around there,
And Shaq
97.
was 94.
And he was a couple years before.
Yeah.
But Kobe was out of high school.
Yeah.
Shaq had 2 years in college, I think. So,
blue
there was
chip.
probably 6 or 7 years difference.
You ever see that movie Blue Chips?
Yeah, remember that.
And Nick Nolte?
Yep. I think there's some animosity there. If Shaq won, the Lakers went out and get Shaq, and he's the big man in the city. LA is a Laker town. At least it used to be. Maybe not so much anymore because they're not the franchise they used to be. But yeah, Kobe comes in. He went to his senior prom with Brandy.
That's
remember
right.
it? He has all this hype coming in. One of the greatest trades of all time, draft day. Jerry West pulls off the trade with Charlotte Hornets to trade Vlade Divac
Oh, I remember that.
for Kobe Bryant, and the owner of Charlotte thought he got one over on the Lakers. But frenemies
Is that a friend of yours?
is when Celeste and Adam
Wonderby?
are Northridge folks.
Oh, they're newer.
Frenemies is when you pretend to be friends with someone for selfish motives. Oh, but
But
really
you
you
really
hate
hate
each other.
each other.
Oh, for selfish motives. So I'm gonna pretend to be friends.
You both pretend? And you both
So hey, it's like a working relationship, right? We're gonna pretend like we're friends so that we can both take advantage of this. But
it
we really hate
benefits
each
us
other.
both in
Yeah.
a way. Interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
Thanks, Celeste.
Yeah. So Celeste, do you have any frenemies? No. Anyway, Celeste is so nice. She was here yesterday. She's for a small group, and I was talking to her. But she's another
I don't know if
Minnesota transplant like myself. So we're
From
just,
where?
Texas.
Texas.
And we were just both talking about frozen lakes, and I was telling her you should take pictures of being out on a frozen lake and show your friends and family because they won't believe it. So, yeah.
Any other thoughts about any other fun enemy, friends, frenemy?
I don't know. No, but I was thinking another classic enemy duo, Jim and Dwight. The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah, would that count?
I thought you already said that.
No, I said Michael Scott and
Michael Scott.
Toby Flenderson because they had to work together. But Jim and Dwight are like arch enemies, right? Have you heard some fan theories about this show?
No.
About The Office?
I'm
Which
also
it's really not.
I don't mind this show, but it's not like I'm crazy like
Oh
some
my
people
goodness!
are about.
What
The
do you
Office.
watch? What do you do with your time? Do you have any sense of humor, Andy?
There are a lot of
No
funny shows
Seinfeld.
out there.
No. Don't tell me Psych. Don't tell me that's your favorite.
It's not my favorite, but it's good.
I just pulled that one out because
Scrubs.
you and Rubel talk about it. Scrubs is
good.
funny.
See? Yeah.
No, so the fan theory is that Pam is a terrible person, which if you watch it, there's good arguments for it, and that Dwight is actually the best person on that show. He's very loyal. When
Consistent.
all come, and when it's all said and done, he comes to the aid of just about everybody at some point, even
It's just
Jim.
super annoying.
Like, yeah, he's just a goof. I mean, he just. And then that the funniest one I just read this recently is that oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. The guy that comes off as really dumb. Spilled his chili. The chili guy spilled his whole pot of chili. Kevin, is that Kevin?
The bigger guy.
Yeah.
The bald guy.
That he's actually a genius and he's embezzling all kinds of money from the company because he's an accountant and he's like he plays the whole dumb role, but he's embezzling tons of money. Yeah. Anyway, Office fan theories, they're fun. So anyway, frenemies. What else?
One last random question before we move on to some Northridge news is, do you ever see a world in social media, you know, like on Facebook you have your friends list? What if they got to the point where you can have designations like enemies or frenemies? Or
where you would like label them on it?
Yeah, you would find that person and then you would click on enemy.
Yeah.
Or frenemy.
So, like, I could say, okay, here's Andy's enemy, and then you'd be thrown into my enemy group or something, and then like
I want to follow you because it's like, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Like, I can't see anything on their feed unless I follow them.
And then I could go
but
if
they're gonna
I
go in my enemies.
go in my
list.
enemies group.
Maybe
and
it's
just
only
see what's
from
going
what you see on your, you don't see somebody
Right.
else's. Like, I see all of Greg's. Oh, here's all of his enemies.
Or would you know that I've labeled you as an enemy?
Right. Maybe
Which
not.
I feel like Facebook would do a thing where like they would do that later. You know what I mean? Like I would label you an enemy and you wouldn't see it, but then like somewhere down the line, 3 years from now, they would decide, oh, they're going to make all that visible.
Yeah.
And then all these people would be upset with each other. It's like, oh, you marked me as enemy back in.
Hey, we're just trying to help you be more honest with yourself and with others.
That'd be funny. It would make things more interesting. I feel like people would just unfollow each other though. If
Maybe.
I don't know.
It was just a stupid random thought I had.
I got it. I don't think I've ever unfollowed anyone on Facebook.
I have.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to think if I have. I'm sure tons of people have unfollowed me.
I don't know about that.
No,
Why do you
I
say that?
I do. No, because most of what I share is
Baseball.
sports or dumb jokes.
Right.
And
people get sick of that?
And I share, like, anytime I see things, I do it. So I'm sure people get tired of it.
Oh, but you don't, you're not in, like, you don't post 30 times a day.
No, but I
Some
don't
of the
think
people
would
that I've unfollowed, they post
Yeah.
like 30 times a day. And normally I'd like,
unfollow or unfriend.
I won't unfriend people.
Yeah.
Unless it's somebody that I just haven't seen or talked to or have no chance of
Yeah.
that maybe it was a high school friend or an old work friend from my early 20s. It's like, why?
I've seen when people have unfriended me or unfollowed or something
Can you
because
tell
they'll
when you-
show up as like a friend suggestion every once in a while. I'm like, I thought I was friends with them.
Okay, yeah, I can think.
And then I'll see it and I'm
I
like,
can think
oh.
of one person that. Has
But I could see why
unfollowed
they
me.
would unfollow me because they don't like sport ball or they don't like
sport ball.
Yeah, the sports. That's what my brother-in-law Joe calls it, sport ball. Any sports, the sport ball, because he doesn't like sports. So,
that's one of the
Yeah.
kids here at Northridge. I was asking them about what they like to do. Hey, you play any sports? No, I don't. I don't sport.
I don't sport. Yeah,
Anyway,
that's fun. I'm not a good sport.
so that was all of that conversation about enemies. If you have any thoughts, like Celeste,
Yeah.
drop them in there. Before we do any announcements, Greg, he spent some time this weekend setting up an iTunes and Spotify accounts. So if you want to listen to the audio later, if you weren't able to watch the video live, or you just don't want to look at us, that's fine. You can go to Spotify or iTunes and follow.
Yeah.
You just search for Northridge Fellowship.
I think it's called NRF Weekly
Yep.
for now.
For now.
I wanted to call it Andy and Greg Talk About Stuff.
If you have
Andy
good
didn't like
ideas
that.
for names, maybe you can submit it and we'll take a vote.
No, we won't.
No, we won't.
We might.
Maybe.
If there's a good one, yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about some Northridge stuff, and then we'll get out of
Okay.
here. I don't even-
Northridge news.
Yeah. The first and most important thing is this Saturday. What's happening this Saturday, Greg?
This Saturday, my daughter has her play.
What time?
Not sure, but it's sometime in the afternoon.
Oh, that's good. At
I
least
know.
it's not during.
No. So this Saturday, Northridge-wise, is the Big Chill.
So you won't go to the Big Chill.
I'm going to miss the Big Chill this year, sadly. It's going to be a really nice day. What's the
Says-
forecast? It keeps going up. Every time I look at it, the temp goes up. Last time I saw it was like 32 and mostly sunny. That's going to be a really nice day.
Currently, it is 12 degrees out.
Currently. I'm talking Saturday.
Oh, Saturday. Saturday, 34.
Yeah. Oh, see? It's gone up again. What app are you using?
Weather Channel.
Weather Channel? Yeah. So it's
The
gone
app.
up. It's gone up a
Not
couple
the-
degrees every
not the
time I
Apple
look.
weather thing.
So by the time it gets to Saturday, it might be 60 degrees out, in which case you probably
Shouldn't
don't
go
want to
on
go
the
on the
ice.
ice. But
I can go on the ice anyway.
no, it'll be fine. It's frozen like this thick or this thick. I don't know. It's probably.
I think it's probably like
Yeah,
5 or
it's
6.
thick enough.
5 inches.
If you see guys,
It's
going
been a
out
cold
there,
winter,
It's
so
been very cold for a
it-
very long time.
Yeah, there's no fear.
No, there'll be
Um,
plenty of ice, and but it looks like it's gonna be a nice day to be out there.
Yep,
So
should be sunny.
yep,
You might even be able to take your coat off,
mm-hmm.
wear some sunglasses. Might even get sunburned,
you might.
or is just
Yeah.
cold wind burned?
Can you? Is there a temp in which you don't get sunburn?
I don't think so, because it has nothing to do with temperature. It has to do with UV rays.
Yeah, I know, but the reason I asked is like, you know how they say in the winter, even if you're out in the sun, you still don't absorb enough vitamin D because the sun's the way where the sun sits on the atmosphere or some nonsense,
Wah, wah, wah.
gobbledygook.
Gobbledygook.
It's probably some lie promoted by the supplement companies, so you buy more vitamin D pills,
Well, they also say
which I do
that
take.
in the summertime, even if it's cloudy, you still can get sunburned.
Yeah, we always heard that growing up. Like that's when people get sunburned the most at the beach.
Is when it's
Is
cloudy.
when it's overcast or cloudy because you think, oh, I don't have to put sunblock on, and then, yes, you do. Sunburn.
sunburned.
Just
So
like
Big Chill,
Lobster.
Lake Martha, 12 o'clock
Yep.
to 4
to
o'clock.
4. Lake Martha and Hanover.
You don't even have to have any
Buffalo-ish.
gear of your own.
Just head on out there.
You can ATV rides, snowmobile rides. There's ice fishing.
You could drive out on the ice if you want. If you don't want to, you could park in the parking lot and just kind of hang out. And
There'll be
guys on the
eventually
four-wheelers,
somebody will be
someone
coming
come
by,
over and-
give you a ride.
Yep.
Should be a good time. And then later in the day,
Sorry.
it's all right.
Got me
Later in the
mid-drink.
day,
Saturday supper down in the great room.
Saturday supper.
Yeah, meatball subs.
Yes,
I've been hungry for like 3 weeks, just staring at the poster.
you've
That meatball sandwich.
held off eating for.
I
3
have not
weeks?
eaten for 3 weeks. No, but every time I look at that poster, I'm like, that looks so good, and it just makes me hungry. So come hungry. RSVP for that.
Yes,
You can
that-
pay
that will
online
help.
ahead of time. There's a $3
$3
per
unless you're 5 and under.
person. Yeah,
Which in that case, you're probably not listening to this.
you shouldn't be. Go to bed. You should be in bed.
Bed nap time.
Nap time.
Yeah, nap time.
It's the afternoon.
$3, 5 and under eat for free.
Yeah.
It would help if you RSVP so we know how much food. You can still come, even if you don't RSVP. And you can either pay in cash.
You could have a meatball if you come.
Was it $1 a meatball?
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
yeah.
It's because in the picture I think I see 3.
Yeah. No, there's more than that. It's a big sandwich, man.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look that close. I just made that up.
I could almost see it. I can't quite see it from here. I can't
So
make it
far
out.
away. I think my vision's getting worse.
It is. I can't.
Well,
I
like
can't make out how many meatballs.
I just
that is.
am like, I go by standing up here on the stage
Yeah.
reading the back screen
Mhm. It's a small
because it's a
screen.
consistent, regular thing
Yeah.
for over the years. It's there's the variables are all the same. My
So
context.
you don't see it as well as you used to.
I'm not. I'm having to squint.
Yeah.
I'm having to kind of like,
Yeah.
and then I get lost and I read something wrong.
Let me ask
regularly.
you: do you see a difference if you're like, say, you're looking out, like you're looking at faces, you're looking at people, and then you look up to the screen? Is it blurry, or do you see a difference there, or is it just always bad, or getting not bad but getting worse?
I don't know. That's kind of a weird.
This
I think
would be a
it's
good question for Terry Gilsrud. She works at I West, the eye
Is
place.
she an optometrist?
She works there.
Does she do like the
Yeah.
pre-screening thing,
She
where
could,
the eye puff and before you see
I don't know.
the guy who
Camera
spends
one, camera two.
yeah.
1, 2.
So anyway, I think my vision's
What
getting
I've
worse.
noticed is that if I'm looking at a piece of paper, stuff written, looking down for a while, and then go to look up, it takes a minute for my not a full minute.
Okay, so
but
it's more of your
eyes to
eye
adjust. I don't know what that is, but
focusing
yeah.
on
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
lengths, different lengths.
Yep.
But eventually it gets there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because eventually when I'm looking at the screen, after like blinking and opening my eyes real wide, then it gets there.
Yeah.
But
But you got to think you're looking at. I know you're not always looking at your chord charts or something, but you got.
I don't have
stuff,
any of that in front of me.
You got lights shining in your face. You're looking like different light settings, and then all of a sudden a bright screen that you're trying to. So your eyes are probably.
You're having
adjusting.
You're putting
I'm not
forward
a
the most
professional.
charitable viewpoint for me.
So your eyes are getting worse.
Maybe.
Yes, you're getting
Maybe
older.
I should just make the words bigger on
You
the back
should.
screen.
You should make a big, like giant.
Because I
words.
don't have problems reading the lyrics when they're generally bigger. Because I
You just
usually
have
put
problems seeing how
2 to
many
3.
meatballs are on the sandwich,
Right.
and so that's just something you're gonna
It's a
have to
food
deal
problem.
with. Yeah,
Yeah.
the problem. Of life.
So that's this Saturday.
Yeah, since
big
we
chill.
talked about Andy's eyes, but the big chill Saturday, and then the meatball sandwich, the Saturday supper here, which would be a lot of fun. It's gonna be good. So, yeah. By the way, not just about meatball sandwiches. It's just a great time of fellowship and like connect and meet people maybe you don't know, sit by someone you don't know, make new friends, or sit by people you do know and strengthen old friendships or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's always a lot of fun.
Should be fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to sit next to. I'll be a little late because this week's rehearsal for the worship team is at 5. So we'll go from 5.
You're gonna have people coming in here. Is there service going on? Why is there music? There's
Somebody showed up on Saturday
Yeah.
thinking there was church.
Yeah.
They walked all the way down
That's
and
too
came
bad.
back and like,
Oh,
isn't
bummer.
there a service? Chosen event,
Yes.
March 12th, 6 p.m. Tell us more about this event, Greg. This
The
is something that you
Chosen
are-
event is an event about the Chosen. March 12th, 6 to 8.
Super.
In this room, we're going to have a viewing of an episode of the show The Chosen. If you have seen this show, it's really well done. It's really good. If you have not, it's really well done. It's a great show. About
It's good either way.
It's good either way.
really well
That's
done
why I
either
caught
way.
myself. Like whether you've seen it or not, it's still good. It's a creative look at Jesus and the life of Jesus and those around him, like disciples and followers. And so it's not, word for word scripture, on screen or anything like that, but very well researched. And there's obviously a lot of biblical stories and elements into it.
Right.
But
And from your perspective, nothing that contradicts the Bible.
no, and I think
Yeah,
they
I
do a
haven't
great
seen
job
anything
of
that-
researching and
You
and
can watch
figuring
these.
out.
Can't you? We watch these free.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, where can you find free things
right.
today?
Yeah, not many places,
Yeah.
but you could come here
The
and watch
news
an episode,
on TV that's free.
but it'll cost you a piece of your soul.
But you can watch these episodes. They have
Yeah.
2 seasons completed,
Mm-hmm.
and you can watch all episodes from both of these
Yeah.
seasons for free, both on YouTube.
I think the best way,
Is
yeah,
the app.
yeah, but The Chosen show, I forget how it's called on the App Store, but download the app and it gives you,
Both on
all that
Apple
stuff
and Android,
yeah.
Google Play,
And it gives you there's a lot more stuff on the app, just info, and there's a lot of fun things.
behind the scenes
Yeah.
clips.
Yeah. Yep. So there's a standalone episode, meaning it's not, the storyline isn't necessarily connected to the season or to other episodes, but there's an episode about Jesus and the little children, and it's a great episode, and we're going to watch that, and just here in the room. There's going to be snacks. There's a small group that is actually hosting this and putting it on. They can have snacks available, and it's a great time. Just family. It's kid friendly and family friendly. All that. Although if your kids get bored and they don't want to sit and watch, we also will have childcare for up to age 4. I think it was. But yeah, it'll be a good time. And then afterwards, Justin Overlander, who's a Northridger and happens to be an associate producer on the show, is going to be here just kind of talking a little bit about the show, answering questions you may have, and be a fun time, fun discussion. So Justin's a good dude and a fun guy, witty sense of humor, but also just a good guy. So he'll be around for that, and encourage anyone to come out, invite friends, family, neighbor, invite people, bring them along. It's totally free. So.
And you don't have to like RSVP or.
No, we're taking a
doesn't
risk
cost
and not
anything?
doing an RSVP on this one, and hoping that we don't run out of seats in the worship center. But we could host. We could fit 300 plus people in here, so
Okay.
should be good. Get the nice screen, nice projector. Andy's going to do some music, and just kidding.
Get some popcorn going. I'm not
Yeah.
doing music.
Yeah. No, it'll be good.
Cool. That's March 12th at 6 p.m. Is this one official, right?
I don't know.
I think it is.
That's the first I've seen of
I
it.
thought I saw an email from Dale the other day.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe I'll wait on that one.
Yeah.
Coming up sooner than you'd think. I can't believe we're getting close to March. And you know what that means?
March Madness?
No, who cares about
I
college
don't.
basketball?
I don't. But
You can hate on me, fine. I don't care. Is April. April is close to March. And you know what that means?
spring,
It means
springtime, and then summer.
Easter.
Oh, yeah, Easter.
Easter and Holy Week.
Yes.
This year, Holy Week begins on the 10th of April, and that is It begins with Palm Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And this year for Palm Sunday, we are going to be having a kids musical, which is pretty awesome.
that is
It's
awesome.
actually going to be during the services at both the 9 and 10:30.
Oh, okay. That's news to me. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Sweet.
you did know that.
I didn't.
Talked about it in staff meeting yesterday.
Oh.
So I'm sure as parents, you already know that some of your kids who are going to be part of it, they've already had one rehearsal, and they're going to be doing rehearsals between now and then. Maybe you didn't hear about that, and you have kids that are, it's what, 2nd through 5th grade, I think, that want to be a part of it. You make sure you get in touch with Jackie or Courtney, and or Christine Nielsen. I'm sure I know she's helping out with stuff, but yeah, that'll be during the Palm Sunday, April 10th services, and then that week, not only are our regular programs canceled like youth and kids on Wednesday nights, but we have a couple special services that week starting on Thursday with our Last Supper service.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be at 7 o'clock here in this room, the worship center, where we take a look at the Last Supper. We share communion together and just continue preparing our hearts and getting our focus and attention on Easter and the resurrection on Sunday. Friday is Good Friday, where we spend some time around the actual crucifixion of Jesus, what led to that, and immediately following before the Easter celebration. And you know, there's a hymn called "The Wonderful Cross," which is it's a perfect phrase of the paradigm of that day. Good Friday, kind of the same thing. Well, why is it so good if somebody gets massacred? That
Yeah.
so we'll be looking at that and trying to position our hearts and minds in the right place for Sunday. Sunday, we have a sunrise service at 6:30 a.m. Along with that service,
Make it?
I've always made it. I've never been late. And I've been doing it for we've been doing sunrise service here for 8 years.
All right.
It's crazy. I don't know. You weren't here. We started the first 2 years. We did it on the atrium on the tile. And the first year we were facing the windows.
Yeah, to try to catch some sunrise.
Yep, through the skylights. Second year, Dan wanted to turn the entrance of the worship center into the tomb. So there's this kind of rock, paper mache rock structure around the doors of the worship center. So everybody was facing this way that year. And then it got so big, because it was weird, because there's families that show up to that service. That's the only time we see them all year.
Yeah.
Is at the sunrise service.
And there's a group.
Very strange.
There's another group of guys they're like Russian-speaking guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Show up.
Yeah. So that service got big enough where we started doing it in the worship center. So then we did it in the worship center for probably 3 years, 2 years, maybe 3 years. And then we decided to do a baptism alongside of it. And so that was like, not including the COVID year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, I think, 3 years of that where we've done it in the great room. And along with the service, the sunrise service, we do baptisms. And then we have some sort of, this year I think Terry's even taking it a step further. Terry Gilsrud taking a step further with having an actual breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of been finger food to continental breakfast, now to it sounds like it might be even a fuller breakfast.
Yeah.
So you can come at 6:30 for the service. Immediately following that, the service usually goes about an hour, maybe even a little less than an hour, 45, 50 minutes. So from 7:45 to there's a service that starts at 8 for the Easter celebration services, 8, 9:15, and 10:45. I think we didn't change the service times, did we?
So.
Okay.
You should know that. Worship guy.
Well, I'm just here all morning, so it's like
I know. What time is it again?
Right.
Yeah.
8, 9:15, and 10:45.
Yeah.
And so if you're here serving, or you're here for the 6:30 service, and you're not going to go to the main service until like the 9:15 or 10:45 service, you get some breakfast, hang out. It should be really good.
Yeah.
It should be.
It's always a great morning.
It is, and it's just. I remember last year, after not having been able to meet the year before that because of COVID, and everybody being quarantined and online services only, it was just so cool. I remember that was just the general sentiment. It was like, it doesn't even matter how many people showed up, just the fact that we were able to be together and do this together, because it only had been like 3 months since we were starting to meet back.
Yeah, because we missed the Christmas Easter 2020, but then also Christmas, because we had that second wave kind of go through this area. So we were online only for 6 or 7 weeks or something from Thanksgiving-ish into mid-January. So that was like, we missed 2 major holidays in person.
I think...
Well, 2 biggest days of the Christian calendar for sure. So
and that's unfortunate, but I think it could have been worse.
Yeah.
But yeah. So last year, it was really good to be together. The images of the cross decorated with all the carnations, that was cool.
Yeah.
We just have to go back to the bottom, because it's like, how do you top that?
It was cool.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do to top it, Andy?
I don't know. We're gonna bottom it. We're gonna
Bottom
go back
out?
to the bottom and just do bare bones and
Okay.
turn.
So everyone has to bring their own lawn chair, and
Right.
you're going to...
Yeah, we'll be talking about that next Thursday, I think.
Okay.
So that's Easter Holy Week. You'll hear more about that. I mean, it's still a month and a half away, almost. Yeah, a month and a half away. So the other things, we have a Kairos course, which is a missionary training intensive course. And this year, they're going to do 3 weekends. And it's like 4 hours each day. The first one starts on the 11th through 13th of March. And then it's the next weekend, the 18th through 20th. And then the weekend after that, 25th through 27th. If you go to the website and the missions page, or no, it's under the events page, and you can click on the Kairos graphic for more information and how to sign up all that kind of stuff. There's a cost, right?
Yeah, I believe
believe
there's
so.
a cost. There's materials and there's
There's
it's
the
a good
materials
course,
and a little snack on each of those days.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to get more information, ask some questions, there should be some contact information there. So yeah, that's Kairos Course coming up in March. And the last thing that I have that I can think of is every so often we do free family photos, portraits
Mm-hmm.
that we like, including pictures that we have in our digital directory, so to speak, or our our archive of my NRF. But it's also a great opportunity for you and your family to get some free photos by a professional photographer.
Very good photographer.
Unbelievable photographer. Now, lately with all the construction going on, you haven't seen the pictures in the inside of the building, but normally, if you're newer to Northridge, normally you'd see pictures and portraits along the walls of the hallway and in the atrium and all that kind of stuff. And we'll get back to that at some point. But amazing photographer, Sean Nielsen, and he's gives his time to do these family portraits. And so the weekend of March 26th and 27th, he's going to be coming back and setting up all of his stuff on a Saturday and a Sunday. There's likely to be more opportunities on Saturday to do because we do not have to contend with the service.
Yeah.
So there'll be a sign-up sheet for times, and so be ready to sign up and what's going to be most convenient for you and your family because they fill up quick.
Yeah.
You're going to want to get to that sign-up sheet, pick your time, get your free family portraits, and it's going to be good.
Yep.
That is all I can
You
think
get a
of.
digital copy of your
Yes, you will.
photos, too.
Yes.
And if you want to print them out, you can print them out on your own. But
Yep.
you get digital copy of several of the final photos.
Yeah, he always does some
Yeah.
normal ones and then he does some goofy ones. He's
Some
got a
fun
really, really good knack for making
Yep.
people smile and laugh and get.
He even made you smile.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Do I not
Doesn't
smile?
mean anything.
Do I not smile?
You just
enough?
did. No,
Yeah, smile more. Talk
we
less.
had so when we first got here, because I first came on staff and we had to go to his studio to take like picture of me, and then he did family ones, and he just told me grab the boys, they smushed their cheeks on each side, one on each side, like real tight, and then I like tickled them to make them laugh and stuff, and it was just great, and we've recreated that picture several times, me and the boys. So each time Sean takes our pictures here that we've done it, we've recreated that.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to an update and see if my middle schooler and fourth grader now will go for it. They probably won't, but I'll make them.
You're too
I'm still stronger than they are.
grown up. Hi, Cindy.
Cindy Mortensen, hello. They'll do it.
Man, that's all I can think of. I think that I went through a lot of news and
There's a lot of stuff.
yeah. Make sure if you have any questions about anything, let us know. We'll probably look to be doing earlier ones than we had. We
Yeah.
normally had started at 2:00, but I think what we're going to be doing is looking more at the 12 o'clock time frame to
Shoot for
begin
noon.
the live ones. Again, if you can't catch it live or just want to listen for convenience sake, if you're a podcaster, you can go to iTunes Podcast or you can go to Spotify. And if you follow our podcasts, then you'll get updated as we update them.
Mhm.
You'll just see them in your feed there. And so, yeah, we appreciate anybody who listens and
Yep.
Anybody who chatters back with us. And if you have any questions about any of the news stuff here at Northridge or anything that we have said or tried not to say during this podcast, please don't email our bosses, but just come directly to us. Just kidding. If you have any questions about anything, office@nrf.life, or you can email Greg or myself, and we'd love to talk to you. Hope you guys is that it? Anything from you, Greg?
No, I was just thinking. Thank you for all of you who have patiently endured the construction process. I don't know. I just looked up and I see. It's exciting right now because I see the guy painting like certain
Painting over what used to be my office store.
right. What used to be our office store. There were certain parts
He's
of the
been here
building that
since
were
the
kind
fall.
of patched, like and waiting, and now like those little detail things are getting filled in. The actual like new addition. There's lighting up. There's ceiling. The ceiling grid is in. Tiles aren't in yet, but there's lighting fixtures up. The walls are all painted. Flooring's going in soon in the coming weeks, and like a couple weeks be moving in to that space. It's pretty.
Couple weeks.
Yeah.
They're gonna start. We.
I don't know
Like
when we will
can-
use the space for, like for kids ministry,
Okay.
the early childhood section. I don't know
But what about us
what
in
the
our
plan
offices?
is for using that yet, but
Are we gonna have carpet in our offices, or are we gonna
think
have
so.
hard
No, I think it's carpet.
This
Yeah.
stuff that we have here.
I think I believe it's the same new stuff. Yeah.
Okay, and the agreeable
Um,
gray walls.
You haven't looked in there yet?
Yeah,
There's one accent wall.
Oh,
It's
there's
the
one
blue.
accent, the blue.
Agreeable gray wall and then a blue wall, accent wall. Yeah. All the offices are the same, Andy. You don't get, except you get your couches. But other than that, the walls are the same.
And I got a TV
And a
mount.
big TV. So you can watch your.
Not a big TV. It's gonna be 50
Yeah.
inch.
That's so funny because growing up, you had said not a big TV, just 50 inch. I'm like, 50. We had a 19-inch TV in our living room my whole life. And that was like,
My dad was into big TVs.
Yeah?
So he got
Cool.
one of those big cabinet ones with the doors.
yeah,
Yeah. It had like the
Big
weird
giant
screen that had
piece of
kind
furniture.
What?
Big giant piece of furniture. Yeah.
It was huge. But it was the TV of
What are we
TVs.
talking about TVs? I don't. What in the world is happening? How do we just start talking about TVs?
Well, the
I
TV
know,
in my
I
office.
know.
So we're gonna be
So-
able to move in there in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think
And use it.
first week. Chris Mabin's going to be upset because I keep messing this up. I think it's the first week of March. We're going to be able to move the stuff that's out in the storage container
Into
out
our
there,
offices.
like cubicles and office furniture stuff. We're going to move in. Yeah, yeah. So it's all coming together.
You can have a couch in your office too.
I don't know if
Because
I have room.
You won't have room. What else? Are you sharing an office with somebody?
No, but I'll have bookshelf with like small group material and all kinds of stuff. So that cabinet down there that has all the small group materials will be in my office.
Are you gonna have a desk that runs from one wall to the other wall?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because I'm just putting a corner
I'm
desk.
just gonna pull up when it's in there and just say, "Hey, this is
Yeah.
my office now."
So this
I
is
don't
the
care.
door.
I
I'm
don't.
gonna put a
I
corner.
don't need fancy stuff like big screens. Big
You don't want a
screen
TV in
TVs.
there? You
Sure.
would take it if.
I would take it
yeah.
if. Hey, can we put a giant TV on your wall? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giant.
Huh?
Giant.
50-inch TV, man.
That's not giant. That's a 50. That's a 50-inch TV. The one outside is a 70.
Yeah. Okay, that's a big TV.
Yeah.
Just because you can't see it from the stage doesn't mean it's.
Yeah. No, I actually told Tim because he's like, "How big do you want?" I'm like, "It really doesn't need to be that big."
Yeah.
Like 42, 48. He's like, "Well, how about a 50?" Whatever.
No, I know they're so cheap.
Yeah.
I saw
Like the price difference between a 50 and a 40.
Oh, it's nothing.
42.
Yeah.
It's like $30.
I saw. Of course, they say the best time to buy a TV is the week before the Super Bowl. Like that's when the best prices.
Who said that?
It's not Black Friday, but it's like that's the best prices because they sell more TVs during that time than even Christmas.
Why would that be the best time? Wouldn't you want to check?
competition?
Wouldn't
They're
you?
all trying to get your business, man.
I know, but wouldn't,
I don't know. Hey, look, I don't know how these companies do these things. I do know that I saw like 55-inch because it's the same TV I used to have before somebody in my household threw a dog toy through the screen. That was Jordan, not the kids.
your wife,
yeah.
the adult. Sorry, Jordan.
It was like the 55-inch Roku. It was like the TCL TVs from Target with Roku built in, 55-inch, and I got it for cheap. That summer of 2020, they were
was on sale.
like unloading a bunch of inventory. We got for $250.
A 55?
Yes, it was
Oh,
really
wow.
inexpensive. It was just, I think with tax and everything, it was just under $300. But a TV that size, like 10 years ago,
Would have been like $1,200.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just crazy, and they're so small and light and
Yeah.
sound horrible, so you have to get a sound bar. But anyway, enjoy your TV office. But that's exciting, construction
Yeah.
stuff. But what I started with, thank you for everyone who's endured this. Like during the week, especially people come in for ministry things like this morning. There's a ladies BSF group that meets on Thursday mornings, and they're down there. That side of the building where we have our temporary office was really cold because they're replacing windows. And like even our office staff didn't want to come in, so I was covering the office, and it was cold.
So it was like
But-
the reverse down here. They
Yeah.
were doing windows.
And then all the construction noise and stuff. It's been, I mean, we're just used to it. We're working alongside, but people are coming in doing ministry things, and so it's been great. It's exciting, but thank you for enduring that.
Yeah.
And it's almost over.
over.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's cool.
So,
Can't wait to
Cool.
see what the kids area is going to be like when it's all done.
yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait with lots of young families coming around. Be nice to fill that
That's what it's
space
for.
with little kids. Yep.
I love how
Yeah.
Ben mentioned that in his sermon last
yeah.
week.
Yep.
This is what it's exactly
That's
for.
what it's for.
It's not for us. I mean, yeah, we get new offices
Mm-hmm.
and everything, but we would have been fine without new offices.
I have been.
Yeah.
Still am. Without an office for months.
This is still fine without
Yeah.
an office.
Yeah.
Yeah, gives you a better excuse to go home early, or me and
Yeah.
us. Shouldn't say just you.
I'm here mostly 9 to 5, man. So
Are you
I don't get the bank hours. But
the bank hours?
the-
All right. Anyway, an actual old console TV with the huge tube on the back could work as well, but no.
Yes, do it,
HDMI
Tim.
color.
Because that could
Or
also be his
remote.
desk.
Yeah, like
You should get that just take the old TV out, hollow out that section. That's where your legs could go when you scoot in. That could be your desk, that old piece of furniture. But Tim, I want to see you try to figure out how to mount that on the wall,
Yeah.
that giant console TV.
no TV
So.
for you, but you get a chalkboard. Anything else, Greg?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something.
Something funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
Who I was going to have
There is a
clean the erasers. Remember in school, when that was like a
that
cool
was a
job.
punishment.
No, that
That
was
was
like
a
a good job to go
punishment.
outside. Yeah, we got to go outside and do it. So you get
Oh,
to clean
really?
the erasers, yeah.
Oh no, that's
And we just slam them against the wall. So you'd have these like the giant rectangular mark against the walls.
It
and,
would
yeah.
always seem like a
Maybe that's just I had a cool teacher. I don't know.
yeah, maybe or it's just the certain styles of punishment or what's
And you didn't. It just dawned on me. Your school's here. You didn't just go outside. Like we went out of our classroom. That was outdoors. It wasn't a hallway.
Oh yeah, because you had outdoor
Yeah.
hallways.
Yeah.
That was what it was like when I lived in Florida. They had outdoor
Mhm.
hallways,
Yeah.
but
But
here
you probably also had gators and snakes and stuff roaming around, right?
not
Florida?
in the kids' school. You know.
Okay. They kept the gators out.
Yeah.
That's good.
Um,
That'd been crazy if you guys had like a giant pond just in the middle of your playground, and you just weren't sure ever if you're going to get eaten by an alligator while you're on
or
recess.
stung, bitten by a snake.
Yeah, and it's
Water
like
moccasins.
the soccer ball goes in the
Yeah.
middle of the pond, and like someone has to
you
try
get
to
it, Billy.
go get
No,
it.
you
yeah.
get it.
Yeah, draw straws or whatever to see who goes.
Careful what you ask for, Greg.
I asked for you to put the console TV up on Andy's wall. So
It's like
Tim's awesome because he will make things happen if you.
you will.
Yeah.
There's been this white gray whisker on your face that I've been wanting to like,
I got lots of
Pluck.
them. Man.
but there's like one that's standing out more
Why-
than the other
it's
ones.
just the way the light's hitting it.
Uh,
It's showing my wisdom.
showing
Don't
you
hate because you can't grow a beard, man. Like this.
Yeah.
I'm sure the white just gets highlighted to that bright light.
I think that's a sign that we are done.
Every once in a while, Jordan will come up and pluck one. She'll,
Really?
Look at that. Let me get it.
Jordan, there's one on the right side of his
Yeah,
face.
she'll get it.
Just
No, there's multiple. There's
towards
not
the
one.
top, but there's
lots.
one that's like brighter than everything else.
You know, when they first started coming, I would try like grab them because they're so. Oh man, it just sticks
Stuck
out. But
out.
now I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
It's just gonna happen.
I do that.
Yeah.
You ever thought about coloring it?
No.
No, touch of gray.
No.
Remember that Emmett
Uh,
Smith? Your beard is
Yeah,
weird.
your beard is weird. Keith Hernandez and
Yeah.
Walt Frazier. Just for Men. Nope.
Are we gonna have a baseball season this year, Greg?
Yes. As soon as the players start missing game checks, they will lose their will to negotiate, and the owners get what they want or more of what they want. That's generally how it goes because generally speaking, and although most players make super incredible amount of money, generally speaking, the owners are in a better financial position than the players. So
Right.
and
'Cause
a
theirs
lot
is
of players are probably overextended from even though they make a lot of money. And once they start forfeiting checks, which yesterday the owners threatened, like, hey, if we cancel season, we're not making up games. You're losing that money.
So
Then,
if they start late, it's just going to be a reduced season.
yeah. And don't you think that players then would, like, how many like the union could say, hey, look, we got to hold strong, but like players start feeling that pressure of missing paychecks. I don't know. I feel like they'll cave a little bit. I don't even know what all the demands are. I don't care. It's dumb. We got super wealthy people arguing with super wealthy people and not giving us what we need.
Baseball.
Baseball season.
Let's just play ball.
Just play ball.
Yeah.
Let the kids play. Let the kids play.
I imagine that, like, yeah, how many players are part of the players' representative group, like the union?
Doesn't each team get like one player?
So they're,
have one player rep and
what is that, 30, 32?
something like that. Yeah.
I don't remember how many teams. I always get those mixed up with NFL teams. It's
Yeah.
like 32.
It's 26?
NFL?
No, baseball. We should probably know
I
this.
thought it was 30.
Well, I say like we don't talk politics. We're more in tune with like.
But we don't
sports
even know
stuff. Like, I don't know. Why am I supposed to know the exact number of teams? There's 30. Isn't there 5 in each division or just
I
under?
guess 30.
2 leagues,
30.
3 divisions. Yeah. See, 5 each
Yeah,
division.
not 28. Did you say 28?
Well-
That was your first answer.
No, I don't count. I still don't count
The Giants
the Rockies.
or the Rockies?
Who else are
Why
the
the
latest
Rockies?
expansion teams?
The most recent ones?
Has it been?
Well, would you call the Nationals technically?
No, because it's Montreal Expos. They just moved.
Okay.
Like expansion, like new teams. Colorado and Florida, are those?
Yeah.
Or when was
but
Tampa
those were
Bay?
In the 90s.
I know.
The
but
Rays.
It's
I
been a
think
while.
The Rays are,
When did Tampa Bay get added? That was late 90s. I feel like that was after. That was after Florida or Miami and Colorado.
95.
Yeah.
95. Oh, 98. Began play in 98.
Yeah.
So
Are we
they're
that old?
Probably the latest.
We're getting that old where we can't remember stuff from the 90s.
Yeah. Well, it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Um,
I heard the other day, I think I heard Joe Rogan talking about Oliver Stone and the JFK movie was 30 years after the JFK assassination, and now there's a new documentary about the
30
movie.
years
30
after.
years after. I'm like, wow, it's been equal
60
time from, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Oliver Stone's old.
Yeah, I know, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, we should probably wrap it up for the 4th time.
It's a Minnesota goodbye. We hope you have a great weekend. Hope to see you at one of these events and on the weekend service at 9 and 10:30. You guys have a good rest of the week.
All right.
I love you, but you got to go.
See ya.
We got to go.
Don't have to go home, but you can't stay here,
Yeah.
as they say.